Sometimes the people who walk away from you are not your loss. They are your release. Rejection isn't the end. It's God's way of clearing the path for the life you were born for. Rejection is one of the most painful human experiences. It cuts deeply because it targets one of our core needs, the desire to be accepted, valued, and wanted. Whether it is rejection from people you loved, friends you trusted, opportunities you prayed for, or doors you were excited about, the sting of rejection can feel like a personal attack on your worth. Many people sit in that pain and ask, why me? Why is this happening? What did I do wrong? But what nobody tells you in that moment is this: rejection is often God's protection in disguise. What feels like loss is sometimes divine rescue. What feels like abandonment is God saying, I have something better. Trust me. You see, God sees what you cannot see. He hears conversations you were never part of. He knows intentions that were hidden from your eyes. He sees the traps, the betrayals, the heart attachments, and the disappointments that your future self would not be able to handle. So sometimes God shuts a door long before the damage could reach you. You think it's people rejecting you, but it is heaven protecting you. Think about a relationship that ended, a friend who walked away, or a job you desperately wanted but didn't get. You cried over it, questioned yourself, even felt unworthy for a moment. But months or years later, you look back and say, thank God that didn't work out. If I had stayed there, I would have been stuck. If I stayed with that person, I never would have grown. If I got what I wanted, I would have lost what I truly needed. God does not allow rejection to harm you. He uses it to guide you. Sometimes the person rejecting you is not rejecting you. They are rejecting the version of you that was too small for your destiny. They are rejecting the level you have outgrown. They are rejecting the temporary part of your journey, not the permanent calling God has placed on your life. Rejection forces you to move. It pushes you out of your comfort zone. It makes you explore new paths you never would have considered. If every person accepted you and every opportunity said yes, you would become comfortable, even stuck. You wouldn't grow. You wouldn't stretch. You wouldn't step into the greater purpose God has prepared for you. Sometimes God says, they can't go where I'm taking you. People leave because the next chapter is not written for them. Doors close because the next blessing is bigger than the room you're standing in. Opportunities dry up because your future requires a new environment, new people, and a new level of thinking. Rejection is not a sign that God is punishing you. It is a sign that He is preparing you. When the wrong person rejects you, they are removing themselves from a place they never had the capacity to stay in. When the wrong opportunity falls apart, it is because God is clearing the space for the right one. Remember this truth: man's rejection is often God's direction. Think about David in the Bible. His own father didn't consider him worthy enough to be presented to the prophet Samuel. Rejection from his family didn't stop God's plan. It positioned him for it. The very people who overlooked David couldn't stop his anointing. Why? Because when God chooses you, no human rejection can undo divine selection. Maybe today you're facing a rejection that feels unfair. Maybe you're carrying wounds from people who walked away or opportunities that slipped through your fingers. It hurts because you saw potential, but God saw danger. You saw a blessing. God saw a burden. You saw comfort. God saw delay. God's protection doesn't always look like safety. Sometimes it looks like separation. So if you're in a season of rejection, lift your head. Wipe your tears. Don't chase people God is removing. Don't beg to enter doors God has closed. Don't try to revive what God ended. You cannot see the threat He saved you from, but you will see the promise He's preparing for you. Rejection was not meant to break you. It was meant to redirect you. One day you will look back and thank God for every closed door, every lost opportunity, every no, and every person who walked away. Because without them, you would have never arrived at your destiny. Rejection is not your enemy. It is one of God's greatest gifts in disguise. In a world obsessed with popularity, followers, approval, status, recognition, it's easy to assume that success comes to the ones who are the loudest, the smartest, or the most visible. But God doesn't operate by human rules. His kingdom runs on a completely different system. God does not choose the popular. He chooses the unlikely. All throughout history, God has taken people the world ignored and raised them to positions nobody expected. The world looks at appearance, status, and titles. God looks at heart, humility, and potential. If you feel overlooked, underestimated, or invisible, congratulations. You're exactly the kind of person God loves to choose. He specializes in using the unqualified to shame the qualified. Look at Moses, a man with a speech problem hiding in the desert, running from his past. The world saw a failure. God saw a leader. Look at Gideon, the weakest man from the weakest tribe. The world saw insignificance. God saw a warrior. Look at Joseph, rejected by his brothers, thrown into a pit, forgotten in prison. The world saw a victim. God saw a ruler. Look at David, a shepherd boy ignored by his own family. The world saw a boy. God saw a king. Again and again, God proves one thing: people don't decide your destiny. God does. When God has chosen you, it doesn't matter who doubts you, who walks away, who rejects you, or who refuses to believe in your potential. Their opinions cannot override God's plan for your life. We live in a time where people measure worth based on visibility. If you're not noticed, you feel unimportant. If you're not celebrated, you feel invisible. But the truth is, God does his best work behind the scenes. Before God elevates you publicly, he shapes you privately. You may be in a season where you feel unseen, working hard but not recognized, doing right but not rewarded, serving faithfully without applause. It may feel like you're being ignored, but in reality, God is preparing you. Preparation always comes before promotion. God uses the unlikely because they remain humble. They don't rely on their own strength. They don't seek validation from people. They depend on him completely. And here's the truth nobody tells you. Sometimes God hides you because the environment around you isn't ready for your gifting yet. If he revealed you too early, people would damage you. If he elevated you too soon, pride would destroy you. If he exposed your gift before you were strong enough, criticism would crush you. So God keeps you hidden, not because you're unworthy, but because you're chosen. You're not being overlooked. You're being prepared. People may not see your worth now, but God does. People may not understand your calling, but God does. People may not support your growth, but God will. When it's time, God will bring you from the background to the front line. He will make your name known in rooms you never entered. He will open doors no human could open and elevate you in ways that defy explanation. Being unlikely is not a disadvantage. It is your spiritual advantage. Because when unlikely people succeed, the world knows it was only God. So if you've been feeling unimportant, if you've been wondering why others get chosen, and if you've been doubting your worth because you are not in the spotlight, remember this. You don't need to be popular to be chosen. You just need to be willing. The world may not see a leader in you, but God sees a warrior. The world may not see potential in you, but God sees purpose. The world may not choose you first, but God's choice overrides every human ranking. And when God chooses the unlikely, he makes them unstoppable. There are moments in life when the word, now, feels like a punch to the heart. You wanted the job badly, but they chose someone else. You loved someone deeply, but they didn't feel the same. You applied, prayed, hoped, and believed, yet the door still closed. In those moments, it's natural to feel disappointed, confused, even forgotten. But here's the truth nobody teaches you growing up every no from people is a setup for a greater yes from God. You see, God is a master strategist. He doesn't work randomly. He works intentionally. While you see only the small picture, God sees the entire landscape of your life. He sees where each door leads, and sometimes he closes a door because he knows the path behind it. It would have led you away from your destiny. A no is not rejection, it's redirection. Think about it. How many times in life have you wanted something so badly, only to later realize that if you had received it, it would have harmed you? Sometimes the things we think are blessings are actually burdens wrapped in attractive packaging. God sees the future weight of those burdens, so he shuts the door before you pick them up. That job you didn't get. God saw the environment would crush your spirit. That relationship that didn't work. God heard conversations you didn't. That opportunity that slipped away. God knew it wasn't meant to take you to your next level. A no isn't God being distant. It's God being protective. Many times what we interpret as delay is actually God rearranging things in the background. Imagine a father watching his child reach for something dangerous. The child may cry when the father says no, not understanding why. But the father's no is grounded in love, not rejection. And God is the same. His no is not meant to break your heart. It's meant to protect it. We often think that a closed door means God is angry or disappointed in us. But the truth is, closed doors are a sign that God is deeply involved in your life. He is removing what doesn't serve your purpose and clearing the way for what will. But here's the secret. God's yes always requires space. He cannot give you the bigger blessing if your hands are still holding onto the smaller one. Your heart can't welcome the right relationship if it's still attached to the wrong one. Your life can't receive the new level if it's still crowded with old patterns. That's why no is necessary. It frees your hands, your mind, your spirit, your space. It creates room for the miracle God is preparing. Look at Joseph in the Bible. He was rejected by his brothers, sold into slavery, falsely accused, and thrown into prison. At every step, life told him no, but each no was pushing him closer to the ultimate yes, becoming second in command in Egypt. If he hadn't been rejected by his brothers, he never would have reached the place where his purpose might unfold. Every no was a stepping stone to destiny. Your life is no different. The closed doors you face are not dead ends. They are divine rewrotes. You're not being denied. You're being prepared. Prepared for promotion. Prepared for protection. Prepared for purpose. When life says no, don't sink into discouragement. Don't internalize it. Don't assume it means you aren't worthy. Instead, remind yourself, if God allowed it to close, then it wasn't meant for me. And if I didn't receive it, something better is on the way. One day you will look back and thank God for every single no you received. Because when his yes arrives, when the right opportunity aligns, when the right person enters your life, when the right blessing lands in your hands, you'll realize that it was worth every disappointment. God's yes is always bigger than what you prayed for, and every no is preparing you to receive it. We live in a world where acceptance feels like validation. If people like us, we feel worthy. If they approve of us, we feel valued. But when they reject us, ignore us, or criticize us, we begin to question our worth. But here's the truth you must anchor deep within your soul. Your value is not defined by who accepts you. Your worth is now determined by who applauds you. Your identity is now shaped by people. It is shaped by God. People are inconsistent. Their emotions shift. Their loyalty moves. Their opinions change. Someone can admire you one day and abandon you the next. Someone can cheer for you in public and criticize you in private. If you place your self-worth in the hands of people, you will always feel insecure, always feel unstable, always feel like you're not enough. But God's acceptance is steady. God's love is unchanging. God's view of you is permanent. You were valuable before anyone recognized you. You were chosen before anyone approved of you. You were loved before anyone affirmed you. The greatest mistake we make is tying our value to how people treat us. If they love us, we feel lovable. If they reject us, we feel unworthy. If they ignore us, we feel invisible. But this is dangerous because it gives humans the power to define what only God can define. Your worth doesn't decrease when someone stops liking you. Your value doesn't diminish when someone walks away. Your identity doesn't change because someone doesn't understand you. People's acceptance isn't a certificate of your value. It's simply their opinion, and opinions change. Think of a diamond. A diamond never loses its value, whether people recognize it or not. A diamond thrown in the dirt is still a diamond. A diamond ignored in a drawer is still a diamond. A diamond rejected by one jeweler may be desired by another. The rejection doesn't change the diamond's worth. It only reveals the jeweler's lack of vision. It's the same with you. You are valuable not because people see it, but because God put value in you. You are created with purpose, with potential, with gifts, with calling. And none of that disappears because someone fails to recognize it. Their blindness doesn't become your identity. Sometimes God allows rejection because He is protecting you from people who cannot honor your value, people who don't deserve access to you. Their rejection is God saying they're not qualified for your next level. The world rejected Jesus, yet His purpose remained unchanged. David was overlooked, yet he became king. Joseph was betrayed, yet he rose to power. Moses was doubted, yet he led a nation. If their worth wasn't defined by human acceptance, neither is yours. The truth is, if you tie your confidence to people, you will always be chasing approval. If you tie your confidence to God, you will walk with purpose. The moment you stop needing everyone to like you is the moment you step into real freedom. Because not everyone will understand your calling. Not everyone will celebrate your growth. Not everyone will support your future. And that's okay. They weren't meant to. You are not here to be accepted by everyone. You are here to fulfill a purpose that was designed specifically for you. So if people reject you, let them go. If people misunderstand you, stay true to yourself. If people walk away, trust that God is bringing better. Your value isn't in their opinions. It's in your identity. Your worth isn't in their acceptance. It's in God's purpose. Your confidence isn't in their approval. It's in His calling. Walk with your head high. You are chosen. You are valuable. You are enough. When we think about rejection, we often see it as something negative, something painful, something unfair, something that slows us down. But what most people don't realize is that rejection is one of God's greatest tools for building character, shaping inner strength, and preparing you for a future that requires maturity, resilience, and wisdom. Great callings demand great strength. Great destinies demand great preparation. And great preparation almost always includes seasons of rejection. God doesn't send rejection to break you. He uses it to build you. Because the truth is this: you cannot step into a high calling with a weak character. You cannot walk in a big destiny with small shoulders. And you cannot carry heavy blessings with fragile emotions. So God allows seasons where people walk away, where opportunities collapse, where you feel misunderstood, unappreciated, and overlooked. Not because He wants you to suffer, but because He knows that your destiny requires more strength than your current level. Rejection takes you through a refining process. It exposes your insecurities so God can heal them. It breaks unhealthy attachments so God can free you. It teaches you independence so you stop living for people's approval. People who have never been rejected often crumble the moment pressure comes. But those who have been shaped by rejection develop a backbone, a focus, a maturity, and a confidence that cannot be shaken by human opinions. Rejection forces you to find your identity in God, not in people. When everyone accepts you, it's easy to confuse approval with purpose. But when people reject you, you start to see clearly, my identity is not in who stays with me, but in who chose me. Rejection removes the noise. It strips away superficial relationships. It separates you from people who weren't meant to walk with you long term. And in that isolation, something beautiful happens. You discover strength inside you that you never knew you had. You learn to pray deeper. You learn to think clearer. You learn to depend on God more than anything or anyone. Rejection becomes your training ground. Think about every person God used in a powerful way. Every single one of them went through rejection before their elevation. Joseph was rejected by his brothers before becoming a ruler. David was rejected by his own family before becoming a king. Moses was rejected by the people he tried to help before becoming a leader. Esther was overlooked before becoming queen. Jesus himself was rejected by his own people before fulfilling his mission. The pattern is clear. Rejection always comes before promotion. God uses rejection to train your heart, because if small criticism can break you, how will you handle big responsibility? If the opinion of one person discourages you, how will you face the voices of thousands? If one no destroys your confidence, how will you endure the pressure of leadership? Your calling requires thicker skin. Your purpose requires spiritual maturity. Your destiny requires emotional strength. And God builds that strength through rejection. Rejection teaches you patience. It teaches you humility. It teaches you endurance. It teaches you not to quit. Most of all, it teaches you to trust God even when life doesn't make sense. There are blessings waiting for you that require a version of you that is stronger, wiser, and more grounded. And you become that version through adversity. Let me tell you this truth with love. If you were never rejected, you would never grow. If you were never pushed out, you would never step forward. If everyone always supported you, you would never develop resilience. Rejection breaks pride. Rejection builds hunger. Rejection creates depth. Rejection awakens purpose. It shifts your focus from people to God, from approval to calling, from comfort to growth. Some of the greatest leaders, artists, thinkers, and believers in history were shaped by rejection. Their greatness didn't come despite rejection. It came because of it. When you look back years from now, you will realize that the rejections you cried over were the very moments God was molding you for something bigger. The people who left you made space for those who will value you. The opportunities you lost made room for the ones designed for you. The seasons that broke you also built you. The very thing you thought would destroy you actually prepared you. Rejection is not a wall. It is a doorway. Not an ending, but a beginning. Not a punishment, but preparation. So if you are in a season where you feel unwanted, unseen, or unappreciated, if you're carrying wounds from people who rejected your love, your talent, your ideas, or your loyalty, hear this clearly. God is not punishing you. He is positioning you. He is strengthening you. He is preparing you for a destiny that requires the version of you He is shaping right now. One day you will look back and thank God for every rejection, because you will see how each shaped your character, sharpened your vision, purified your heart, and elevated your life. Rejection didn't break you. It built you, and it built you for greatness. As we come to the end of this message, I want you to take one truth with you deep into your heart. Rejection is not the end of your story. It is the beginning of God's bigger plan for your life. The people who walked away, the doors that closed, the opportunities you lost, none of that has the power to stop what God has already prepared for you. You may have been rejected by people, but you are still handpicked, set apart, and chosen by God. You may have been overlooked by the world, but heaven has had its eyes on you all along. You may have faced disappointments, heartbreaks, and challenges, but none of them erased your purpose. They prepared you for it. You are stronger today because of what you survived. You are wiser today because of what didn't work out. You are closer to your destiny because of every no that pushed you toward God's greater why yes. So don't let rejection make you small. Let it make you unstoppable. Don't let people's opinions define you. Let God's calling shape you. Don't look back with regret. Look forward with faith. You were not rejected. You were redirected. You were refined. And ultimately, you were chosen. Your story is still unfolding, and the best chapters have not yet been written. Trust God. Walk boldly. Believe again. Your destiny is bigger than your disappointment, and your purpose is greater than your pain. Thank you so much for watching this video. Thank you for giving your precious time, your attention, and your heart. If this message spoke to you, if it lifted you, if it reminded you of your worth, then do me a favor. To like this video, comment your thoughts. Subscribe for more inspiring messages. Share this with someone who needs encouragement today. Your support means more than you know. You are not just a viewer. You are part of a community of faith, hope, and purpose. May God bless you, strengthen you, and open doors for you that no person can shut. Thank you again, and I'll see you in the next video.